For the past 3 decades, China has been known as the world's factory, but as geopolitical tensions continue to grow, many Western media outlets believe that more countries will reduce their dependence on China and move their manufacturing to countries like India. But can India achieve in the next 30 years what China achieved over the last 3 decades? India certainly has great potential. However, the most realistic answer is probably no. In this video, I will share 10 reasons why India is unlikely to replace China as the world's factory and why Chinese manufacturing will continue to play a key role in the global economy. Reason number 1. The size of China's manufacturing industry. Let's start with one simple fact that shows just how difficult it would be to move a large amount of manufacturing from China to India. Today, China's manufacturing industry is about 10 times larger than India's. By the end of 2025, China's manufacturing output was estimated at over $5.4 trillion, while India's manufacturing output was still around $600 billion. China remained roughly 9 to 10 times larger than India in manufacturing. This means that if only 10% of China's manufacturing capacity moved to India, India's manufacturing industry would almost double in size. But how easy would that be? According to World Bank data, India's manufacturing sector has continued to grow, but the gap with China remains enormous. Even after years of steady growth, India's manufacturing output is still only about 1/10 the size of China's. So even if India's manufacturing continues to grow at a faster pace, replacing just a small share of China's manufacturing would still take many years. Reason number 2. India has focused less on manufacturing. The reality is that over the past 3 decades, India has focused much more on software and IT services, while manufacturing has received much less attention. Today, India accounts for less than 3% of global manufacturing, while China's share is more than 30%. If you look at this chart, you can clearly see the difference. In 2004, China produced only 8.7% of the world's manufactured goods. By 2022, that number had grown to more than 30%. India, on the other hand, has seen very little growth in manufacturing over the past 20 years. The difference is also clear inside India itself. In the smartphone market, at least 90% of sales belong to foreign brands, most of them Chinese companies like Xiaomi, Vivo, Realme, and Oppo. Indian brands are mainly found in the under $100 phone market. The same pattern can be seen in home appliances. Foreign companies control more than 80% of India's washing machine market. And in the automobile industry, foreign companies and joint ventures hold around 75% of the market. In fact, half of all cars sold in India are Japanese brands. Reason number 3. China still dominates traditional manufacturing. Western media often says that China's economy is in trouble and that its future is at risk. But there's one important fact that people often forget. China still dominates traditional manufacturing. Take steel and cement as examples. These are two industries that are essential for future economic growth. China produces 10 times more steel than India, even though India is the world's second largest steel producer. The same is true for cement. China produces 8 times more cement than India, which is also the world's second largest cement producer. Reason number 4. China's share of global exports. Whenever people talk about China's manufacturing success, many say it's only because cheap labor. But that's no longer true. Wages in China have increased dramatically over the past 2 decades. Yet China continues to lead many major industries. In 2024, China became the world's largest automobile exporter. It also leads many industries that will shape the future, including electric vehicles, batteries, solar panels, renewable energy, and artificial intelligence. Even in low-tech products, China remains the global leader. Around 35% of the world's clothing is made in China. More than half of the world's furniture and toys are also made in China. China also produces over 65% of the world's footwear and around 70% of travel goods, making these industries heavily dependent on Chinese manufacturing. Reason number 5. China's manufacturing ecosystem. China's biggest advantage is not just low-cost production. It is the complete manufacturing ecosystem that the country has built over many years. China doesn't just make finished products. It controls almost the entire supply chain from raw materials to the final product. Let's use the textile industry as an example. Making a high-quality shirt doesn't start in a factory. It starts on a farm with growing and harvesting cotton. China is the world's largest cotton producer. India is second, and its total cotton production is not far behind China's. However, when we compare cotton production per unit of land, China is much more efficient. China produces almost the same amount of cotton while using only 1/4 of the farmland that India uses. So, how did China achieve this? By investing in advanced technology. Western media often claims that China uses forced labor to harvest cotton in Xinjiang. However, Chinese cotton farmers also use some of the world's most advanced cotton harvesting machines, including equipment made by the American company John Deere. The Xinjiang region alone produces more than 20% of the world's cotton, making it a key part of China's textile supply chain. China also has factories that produce dyes, buttons, zippers, fabrics, and almost every other material needed by the textile industry. This complex supply chain is one of the biggest reasons behind China's manufacturing success. If we look at manufacturing wages in China, we can see that wages have increased about 7 times since 2004. But during the same period, China's share of global manufacturing continued to grow. China passed Japan in manufacturing in 2007, and a few years later, it also moved ahead of both the United States and Europe. Today, China's lead has become extremely difficult for any country to catch. Of course, wages cannot keep rising forever without affecting manufacturing. That is why many Chinese companies have started moving some labor-intensive production to countries such as Vietnam, Mexico, and Thailand, where labor costs are lower. At the same time, as China becomes wealthier, fewer young people want to work in factories. Now, let's turn our attention to India. Overall, India is still around 10 to 15 years behind China in manufacturing. Although India has made many efforts to grow its manufacturing sector, the results have been much slower than China's. When Prime Minister Narendra Modi came to power in 2014, he launched the Made in India campaign to boost manufacturing. However, if we look at India's GDP data, we can see that manufacturing has remained almost flat over the past 30 years. Reason number 6. India still depends on China's materials and components. This is probably the most interesting point in this video. The biggest problem is that much of India's manufacturing is still limited to final assembly. Apple's operations in India are a perfect example. At first glance, iPhone production in India has grown rapidly over the past 2 years. But there is an important detail. Most of Apple's work in India is called FATP, which stands for Final Assembly, Testing, and Packaging. This stage mainly depends on labor, while the key components are shipped directly from China. As a result, the real value added in India is still quite small. On top of that, the Indian government offers large subsidies to attract foreign companies. In some cases, these subsidies are even higher than the value created by the assembly work itself. For example, assembling a smartphone for a company like Foxconn costs about 4% of the phone's price, while the Indian government provides a subsidy of 6%. This means the government is paying more than the value created by the assembly process. That is not a model that can easily continue or grow over the long term. India is also heavily dependent on China in the pharmaceutical industry, one of the country's most important sectors. About 75% of the raw materials used to make medicines in India are imported directly from China. The same is true for electric vehicles. Indian company Tata builds electric cars, but many key parts, especially the batteries, still come from China. So it is no surprise that India's trade deficit with China reached almost $100 billion last year and continues to grow. In fact, India's imports from China have nearly tripled over the past decade. Reason number 7. India's infrastructure challenges. One of India's biggest problems is its lack of basic infrastructure. Compared with China and even countries like Vietnam and Thailand, India is still behind in areas such as electricity, highways, railways, ports, and transportation. China and India have almost the same population, but China produces 4 times more electricity than India. Without reliable and affordable electricity, it is very difficult for factories to operate efficiently. Even in Bangalore, often called the Silicon Valley of India, power outages happen almost every day. Transportation is another major challenge. It affects the entire supply chain and makes manufacturing less efficient. Road conditions in many Indian cities are poor, and the country has only about 4,000 kilometers of modern expressways. China, by comparison, has more than 170,000 kilometers. Freight trains in India also move very slowly with an average speed of only 25 kilometers per hour. As a result, India loses a huge amount of productivity because of weak transportation infrastructure. Reason number 8. India's bureaucracy. Charlie Munger once said it's very hard to get anything done in India. He was talking about how public protest can delay or even stop major projects. But that's only part of the problem. India also has a very complex and time-consuming bureaucracy. Its tax system is also highly complicated. Because of these challenges, thousands of foreign companies have left India over the past decade. Reason number 9. Labor challenges in India. India has a very large young population, but its workforce still faces several major challenges. First, only about 25% of women participate in the labor force. This means the country is not making full use of its human resources. Second, the quality of education in rural areas is still a serious problem. More than 900 million people live in rural India. As a result, around 29% of India's workforce has only the equivalent of a 9th grade education. UNICEF also estimates that by 2030, more than 300 million students will graduate from high school in India. However, only about half of them will have the skills needed to find a job. Reason number 10. Technology and R&D. India also needs to invest much more in science, research, and manufacturing technology. Today, most Indian startups focus on software and digital services rather than manufacturing. India also ranks relatively low in patent applications, while China is one of the world's leaders. India needs to attract more foreign direct investment just as China did in the past. Instead of relying on large government subsidies, India should create a business environment where foreign companies want to build factories on their own. But because of the challenges we've discussed in this video, that is unlikely to happen anytime soon. At the same time, manufacturing is changing rapidly. We are now entering a new industrial era powered by robots, artificial intelligence, and 5G, 6G technologies. China buys almost half of all industrial robots sold around the world. This gives China an even bigger advantage in large-scale and highly efficient manufacturing. Conclusion. In the near future, India is unlikely to challenge China's position as the world's manufacturing leader. The same is true for countries like Mexico or Vietnam. Another interesting point is that Western leaders no longer talk much about decoupling from China. Instead, they now use the term de-risking. In other words, they want to reduce risks only in a few sensitive industries such as artificial intelligence and advanced semiconductor chips, rather than completely cutting economic ties with China. As US Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen had also said, fully separating from China would not only be harmful, but also unrealistic. Trade and investment between China and the United States still create benefits for both countries. Of course, labor-intensive and low-end manufacturing will gradually move from China to other developing countries, but this is not necessarily bad for either side. In fact, it can be a win-win situation. China can continue moving toward highly valued industries, while countries like India can create more jobs and strengthen their economies. This is very similar to what happened in the 1990s and early 2000s when many Japanese and South Korean companies moved their manufacturing to China. If relations between China and India improve in the future, China could even help India develop its manufacturing industry faster. That would benefit India, China, Asia, and the global economy. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.